So let's talk about the other 90s slasher that got me into horror big time after Scream, which will be reviewed later on this month. Here's a review of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1997 slasher I Know What You Did Last Summer, released by Columbia from Mandalay Pictures, or should I say Entertainment. Yeah, that's what they were called, Mandalay Entertainment, not Pictures, my mistake. Directed by Jim Gillespie. Produced by Neil H. Moritz, Eric Feig, and Stokely Chafin, based on the story by Lois Duncan. Well, it's loosely based. Starring J. Love. That's, of course, Jennifer Love Hewitt to y'all, along with Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Philippe, and Freddie Prinze Jr. The film centers on four young friends who are stalked by a hook-wielding killer 1 year after covering up a car accident in which they killed a man. The film also draws inspiration from the urban legend known as The Hook, as well as the original Prom Night and The House on Sorority Row. Okay. Well, it got a mixed response, but still became a big success. Anyway, let's get into our story. On the 4th of July in 1996, in the town of Southport, North Carolina, Julie James and her friends Ray Bronson, Helen Shivers, and Barry Cox drive to the beach. While driving along a coastal byway, they accidentally hit a pedestrian. Julie's friend Max passes by them on the road. Julie reassures Max that everything is alright, and he leaves. The group decides to dump the body in the water and never discuss what happened, and that they would take this to their grave. A year later, in 1997, Julie returns home from college for the summer, and the friends have gone their separate ways. Julie receives a letter with no return address, stating, "I know what you did last summer." Julie tracks down Helen, and they take the note to Barry, who suspects Max. And they confront him on the docks, and Barry threatens him with a hook. Julie encounters Ray, who now works as a fisherman, and he unsuccessfully tries to reconcile with her. Later, Max is killed by a figure in a rain slicker wielding a hook. Barry discovers a note in his gym locker saying, "I know." He is ambushed by the same assailant driving Barry's car. Let's see. Julie researches newspaper articles, which lead her to believe the man they ran over was a local named David Egan. Helen and Julie meet with David's sister, Missy, at her home. Missy explains that their family was devastated by David's death, and that a friend of David's named Billy Blue visited her to pay his respects. That night, the killer sneaks into Helen's house, cuts off her hair while she sleeps, and writes "soon" in lipstick on her vanity mirror. The following morning, Julie finds Max's corpse wearing Barry's stolen jacket in the trunk of her car. While she calls the others, the body is missing. Julie, Helen, and Barry confront Ray about the recent events. Ray claims to have received a threatening letter as well. While Julie goes back to visit Missy, Barry and Helen participate in the 4th of July parade. Missy reveals David allegedly committed suicide out of guilt for the death of his girlfriend Susie in a car accident, and shows David's suicide note to Julie. As the writing matches that of the note she received, Julie realizes it was not a suicide note, but a death threat. At the Kroger beauty pageant, Helen witnesses Barry being murdered on the balcony. She rushes upstairs with a police officer but finds no sign of the killer or Barry. A police officer escorts Helen home, but the killer lures him into an alley and murders him. Helen flees to her store where her sister Elsa is closing for the night. The killer enters the store and murders Elsa, and Helen is chased to the third floor of the building and escapes through a window, falling to a long alleyway. She runs toward the street, but the killer stops her and slashes her to death, her screams being drowned out by the oncoming parade. Which, that kill, unfortunately, is one of my negatives with this movie. We do get to see Helen pulled into a spot where tires and stuff, and the killer gets her, but we don't know how she even got killed. Yeah. So anyway, now to the ending. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below, to avoid ending spoilers if you've not seen this movie. Okay? Enough said, here we go. Okay, you've been warned. Julie finds an article mentioning Susie's father, Ben Willis, and realizes that Ben was the man they ran over, moments after he killed David to avenge his daughter. She goes to the docks to tell Ray, but he refuses to believe her. Julie notices Ray's boat is called Billy Blue and runs away. A fisherman steps out of the shadows and knocks Ray unconscious, inviting Julie to hide on his boat. On the boat, she finds photos and articles about her friends and her, and pictures of Susie. The boat leaves the docks and the fisherman is revealed to be Ben Willis, who begins tormenting Julie, chasing her below deck. There she uncovers the bodies of Helen and Barry in the boat's icebox. Ray regains consciousness and steals a motorboat to rescue Julie. He ultimately uses the rigging to sever Ben's hand and send him overboard. When Julie and Ray are questioned by the police, they deny knowing why Ben attempted to kill them, but are relieved not to have actually killed anyone and reconcile. A year later in '98, Julie is in college in Boston. As she enters the shower, she notices the words, "I still know," on the mirror. And moments later, a dark figure crashes through it as Julie screams in horror. End of story. So, what did I think of I Know What You Did Last Summer? Well, I'm going to say it's pretty good in ways. It's probably not really one of the best movies, but but I do like the slasher feel. It's just that some of the kills, like Helen's, for example, wasn't even seen completely. I mean, which that was a major downside. But I think the cast was pretty good, actually. Now, of course, J. Love plays Julie. Sarah Michelle Gellar plays Helen. Now, of course, J. Love was currently a star on Party of Five, and Sarah Michelle, well, was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. In the same year this came out, she was also in Scream 2, where she played Cece. A review of that will be coming soon as well, which reminds me, I will now review all 4 Scream movies. So look for a review of Scream 4 coming up on October 29th after the Scream 3 review is up, okay? Ryan Philippe plays Barry, and Freddie Prinze Jr. plays Ray. Other cast members include Bridgette Wilson, who recently played Veronica Vaughn in Billy Madison, as well as Sonya in Mortal Kombat, playing Elsa. Of course, after this, she went on to be in the House on High Hill remake, as well as The Wedding Planner with J-Lo. And Heche, who the following year would be in the crappy remake of Psycho, which I still regret seeing more than the original, but don't worry, the original's surpassing it now. And it's in the same year this came out, appeared in the underrated disaster flick Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones, plays Missy. Playing Max is future Big Bang Theory star Johnny Galecki. Yeah. Anyway, most of those cast members I thought were pretty good and all. I mean, some of the kills were factually good. I mean, seeing Max's death was pretty good. Was good though. That was probably the best kill in the movie. I do believe that was picked by Dead Meat, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I'm gonna say it's good in ways, and music's not too bad. I mean, we start out by here. The movie starts with a kind of a dark cover of let's see, hang on, Summer Breeze, which of course was done by Seals and Croft, and it was done by the heavy metal band Typo Negative. And then finishes with Kula Shaker's cover of Deep Purple's hit Hush. Anyway, and the soundtrack also included the Korn, The Offspring, Toad the Wet Sprocket, Arlie Peace, doing the title track of their album that was out at the time, Clumsy, and lots of others. So, the question is, would I recommend I Know What You Did Last Summer? Well, it's kind of a draw between hell yeah and sure, go ahead. Yeah, it's good in ways. I like it. I don't care what anybody has to say about this. I mean, though it's been some time since I last saw this, but I do have some memories of watching this, especially when Joyce yells, "What are you waiting for?" Yeah, anyway, and of course, 3 years later after this would be part of being spoofed in Scary Movie. But anyway, yeah, I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's pretty good in ways. I'd say give it a try if you've not seen it. So, what are your thoughts on I Know What You Did Last Summer? Please feel free to tell me in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button below, subscribe to my channel as well, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of the sequel to this, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, check out some of these other movies. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of, well, one of my favorite slasher flicks, of course, that being the original Halloween, which, of course, look for a live stream of that coming up. Or if you want, well, something that inspired I Know What You Did Last Summer, check out my recent re-review of the original Prom Night in the upper right-hand corner. And the bottom left-hand corner is my review of Urban Legend, which would be released the following year after this. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.